Feeling. What if I told you the real legends of rock and roll are the ones you've almost never heard about? The ones just out of the spotlight. Feeling, who make the magic happen for the biggest music icons in history, but rarely get the glory. Feeling. That's exactly what Rock and Roll Guns for Hire, the story of the Sidemen, dives into. Feeling, pulling back the curtain on the secret agents behind your favorite stars. Today, we're recapping this nearly 2 hour whirlwind through backstage tales, feeling, heartbreak, triumph, and everything that comes with living life as a sideman. I'm a sideman. I've been one for 40 years, Earl Slick declares as he kicks off this documentary. You hear his name, you might not recognize it immediately. Feeling. But if you're a Bowie fan, or a Stones fan, or even into Prince or Billy Joel, you've heard his playing countless times. Feeling. That's the paradox the film attacks head on. Sidemen aren't failed stars. They're some of the most talented, feeling, chameleon-like musicians alive, trusted to hold up towering egos and sometimes entire brands while keeping their own personalities in check. The documentary is structured like a backstage tour. Right away, you get introduced to the legends. Feeling. Earl Slick describes supporting David Bowie, how Bowie picked him not just for his playing, but his vibey. Fowler, the soul behind Rolling Stones harmonies for over 30 years. Steve Cropper, the genius of Stax, Booker T. And the MGs. Feeling. Otis Redding's right hand man, Wendy and Lisa, Prince's Revolution, and newer faces like Crystal Taliaferro and Crystal Torres, Beyonce's band. That Sidemen magic comes not from ego, but from knowing you can elevate the show, always as part of the team, not above it. What makes a Sidemen special? Feeling. The answer isn't skills alone, it's artistic empathy, adaptability, constant hustle, and a willingness to put someone else's vision in motion. Cropper explains that a great sideman can instantly read a song, know where to add a riff, a harmony, a mood. Bernard Fowler, feeling, though possessing a voice and presence that could front any act, relishes making Mick Jagger bulletproof on stage, ready to step in, cover for him, feeling, and keep the stadium roaring. And he's not just a backup singer. Feeling. The Stones rely on Bernard so much that the band members themselves see him as irreplaceable. Yet every single gig, the nerves creep in. Feeling. I'm nervous until I sing the first note, and then I'm in the machine, Bernard reveals. The film doesn't sugarcoat the realities. Feeling. Nearly every interview echoes the bittersweet truth. The better you do your job, the less anyone knows your name. Feeling. Bernard's story of growing up rough in Queens, surviving by his wits before music gave him purpose, sets a universal theme. Feeling. Most sidemen never planned on being in somebody else's shadow. They had dreams of stardom, bands called the Peach Boys, and brushes with local fame. Bernard almost makes it as a lead act. Feeling. Until fate calls and he's whisked off to London by producer Bill Laswell, without even knowing he's about to meet Mick Jagger in person and be drafted into the Stones' inner circle. Feeling. It's not just old school rockers. The story stretches all the way to Beyonce's world tours. Feeling. Where the Sidewomen are now taking prominent front line spots. Crystal Torres steps in trumpet blazing, high heels, and all. Feeling. Performing dramatic solos that Beyonce herself encourages. And once again, after the flash and glory of touring, feeling. The cause doesn't always come for the next job, and it stings. Feeling. After all those years, I didn't get the call for the next tour, she admits with candor. It hurts, but that's the Sidemen's curse. Feeling. You're always one phone call away from being out, no matter how many stadiums you've rocked. Feeling. Princess Sidemen, especially Wendy and Lisa, add yet another layer. Not just musicians, but true creative partners. Feeling. Bringing their own chemistry, not just to the music, but to the band's identity. Prince, ever the visionary, deliberately assembled a group that shattered stereotypes, mixing gender, race, and attitude. Wendy and Lisa, lovers and musical soulmates, feeling, made the revolution more than just backup. It was a band of equals. Yet the heartbreak is real when Prince is done collaborating. He moves on, feeling, firing them with barely a word. They're left shocked, licking wounds in a rented house, forging their own path out of the ashes. feeling. No matter how close you are to the sun, it only takes a moment to be cast out. Steve Cropper's story is a masterclass. The Sidemen's art, feeling. At Stax Records, he plays with Booker T and the MGs, writes classics like Knock on Wood, and is Otis Redding's trusted studio and stage accompanist. Cropper's ability to craft signature guitar lines and instantly mesh with different acts is so valuable. He breaks racial barriers. White guys backing the greatest soul artists in segregated Memphis. His relationship with Otis becomes legendary, feeling a friendship built on shared risk and creative adventure. Yet when Otis dies tragically, Cropper's legacy is cemented as both co-writer and sideman, feeling never the headline grabber, but always the reason the hits hit so hard. The documentary reveals the dark flip side job security is almost non-existent. Feeling slick jokes that after the tour ends, it's Disneyland until the silence kicks in. Dry, the phone doesn't ring, and because you're so closely linked to one superstar, others assume you're voned and don't call. Feeling the humiliation of waiting, wishing, and hustling for the next gig is real, even for legends. Bernard knows every Stones tour is blessed, but every year there's that moment of doubt, wondering if the call will come. On top of that, being a sideman means constantly reinventing yourself. Feeling, many like Slick branch out dabbling in painting, fashion, even partnering with designers to create signature artwork and clothing. Some, like Crystal Talifro, return to academia, teaching the next generation what it takes to thrive in the ever-changing landscape. The message is clear, feeling. Don't cling to the past, adapt or fade away. The ending of the documentary is both poignant and celebratory. When Bowie dies, feeling Slick is thrown into existential uncertainty, forced to reassess his place in music and the world. Bernard keeps climbing, feeling, branching out as a solo artist and keeping the Stones spirit alive whenever possible. Wendy and Lisa embrace their roles in soundtracks and TV compositions, winning Emmys and crafting new identities. Cropper keeps writing, always happiest, just being part of a band, feeling, content to let fame pass him by while the music endures. Feeling, the big emotional twist is the realization that even after years in someone else's shadow, sidemen find satisfaction in freedom, community, and legacy. Feeling, they may not always get the praise, but they know the stars shine brighter because of them. Their stories are bittersweet, feeling marked by nostalgia and hope for the next gig. Reunion concerts, chance collaborations, and teaching gigs become ways to stay relevant and fulfilled, feeling even as the industry evolves. Feeling. Rock and Roll Guns for Hire is the definitive love letter to all the talented musicians who make your favorite acts sound amazing, but rarely get the credit. Feeling. It's about humility, hustle, heartbreak, and the never-ending grind for creative respect. Feeling. The documentary reminds us that the Sidemen's journey is both lonely and exhilarating, never guaranteed, but always vital to the magic of music. So, feeling, what do you think? Would you trade stardom for creative freedom and backstage brotherhood? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Feeling. If you love this deep dive into music's unsung heroes, smash that like button, share with your fellow music lovers. Feeling. And don't forget to subscribe for more epic documentary breakdowns just like this.